what? We're live.
Really?
What? It's just the Sky Kid. We're at Palace Day, Sheila Reno. It is the interview portion of our show. We have Slomo Kanofsky. Your name is hard to pronounce.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just call me Slomo K.
Slomo K.
Yeah, that's what the people do.
Do you want to introduce yourself with your real human name?
Sure, I guess why not? My name is Sam. I am from Chicago.
And when I met you, you were in another band and have thus done this. So can you tell us the progression of how you started with making music and then progressing into your own solo thing?
Yeah, it's actually, it's one of those stupid stories where a kid thinks they know everything about music, and Zeppelin is God and Hendrix is the Holy Spirit and all that jazz. And I used to be one of the people that would say you can't spell crap without spelling rap. Ho ho! But I truthfully didn't take it seriously until I was in college. I went away to school for a year at Illinois State University, and while I was there, I got onto this fantastic blog that had music for illegal free download. And I would go on there, and there were tons of hardcore, like, melodic death metal and stuff like that. This blog had all kinds of weird stuff, and in my searches through its archives, I found an album by a group called The Clips. They're from Virginia originally, but they bounced around a lot. They were in Florida for a while. But the Gene and Terrence Thornton are their names, and they are both amazing songwriters, and they were the people that got me to start taking rap music seriously. And it's ironic because it's a white boy listening to two people who have truly lived a life where they had to be criminals to get somewhere, and then they used the money from their proceeds to fund their career. And if you listen to their rap lyrics, they haven't spent a rap dollar since. They've just been supposedly moving cocaine across the country, which again, not something I support. But at the same time, like, the way that they wrote their lyrics, the way that they talked about these things, and there was such truth to it, and I had to start listening to it. And once I got past that, I started moving away from the drug rap as much and more into just other, more, like, much very talented songwriters as well. And it is funny to people who have known me in the day of, like, when I was in a ska punk band. And all of you ska listeners out there, I haven't forgotten about ska. I still listen to third wave a little bit, though I'm a lot more first wave and two-tone.
Good
than
job.
I have
Thank you,
been.
Sam.
But hip hop has become, progressively over the years since I turned 19, has become more and more a part of my life. And there's just so much out there that I haven't heard yet, and that's what's so exciting about it. Is there's new music coming out every day, and it's not all my cup of tea, but I try to listen to a lot of it, and it's really just about real life stories. Whereas I try to avoid, I'm not sure if you're familiar with an artist named Kevin Gates. He has a song called Two Phones, and the chorus is 2 phones, one for the plug and one for the low, and that's about selling drugs. But that song didn't speak to me the same way that first album by The Clips, which is Lord Willin'. Check it out if you haven't heard it. Holy cow, real life stories. It's really freaking good.
So then...
Wait, real quick, can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, there's...
I have friends with small children!
We have small children we swear at. I'm the best mom. But, so where would you say your influence then comes from? Like, when you sit down to write a piece of music that you've performed tonight for us, what comes first, the beat or the rap, or do you write the lyrics and then you're like, oh, that would go really good and I can make this fit, or how does that work?
It's a little bit of both, and sometimes it's just something that I write in the moment when I'm in the studio. I have a couple of friends that are doing really well for themselves. What Up Hurts So Good, What Up Bodega. They are, progressing. They played Electric Forest last year, and one half of Hurts So Good, who is also known as Bodega, is a good friend of mine from grade school, and he and I get into the studio once every couple of weeks, and I've been throwing down some new material that we're going to finish up hopefully in the next couple of months here, and nothing huge, just like 2 or 3 songs, but he's a professional doing music stuff. I work 7 million jobs, and we find times that we can meet. But my favorite one is when someone, like, I troll for beats. I go on YouTube, I go on SoundCloud, and if you just let it shuffle through, like, starting from a certain point, you will come across music that's just like, you know, such and such type beat, or, you know, this, it's like a hype beat, or this is a stoner beat, and just kind of listen through, and if something doesn't grab me, I move on past it, and if something does, like, specifically the beat from Smoking Room, I found just trolling YouTube for beats. And if anybody didn't catch that, that's the Fairy Fire song from Legend of Zelda, which I didn't know, but someone you know let me know that, and I just think that that's kind of cool because I accidentally gravitated towards this very nerdy thing that I did not know I would like.
Are you becoming nerdcore?
I mean, much love to MC Chris and all
MC
the other
Lars
guys, and MC Lars and all those guys doing it. But no, I don't think I'll ever become a nerdcore rapper. At least I won't name myself that.
Gotcha.
Because I just don't feel I can hang. I'm not a super nerd anymore. I used to be like mad Star Wars knowledge. Like when I was in high school, I was reading all of those books about like the Young Jedi Academy and stuff. And like,
wow.
I was a super nerd. I did not want to talk about anything but Star Wars and the related topics and like, oh, the spaceships and the science and the samurai story underneath it. It was such my passion at the time. And I am a big nerd about some things, but I don't think that I'll ever try and go for the nerdcore label just because I don't want, well, not that I don't want any of those people to listen to my music.
Go listen to his music.
But I mean, do you guys, internet, comment on this video when it's been posted to YouTube and tell me if you think that I should be considered a nerdcore rapper. What am I?
Legend of Zelda.
Who am I?
Who are you? That's a good question.
No, I like to write music about smoking weed and hating the government, and
those two things go really good.
They do.
Hand in hand.
The DEA just removed erroneous information from its website last year. People, your government does not trust you. They don't like you. They don't care about you.
And in fact, they've write legislature against you. Specifically, currently in Wisconsin, where the exiting governor and attorney general have thus signed off saying that, guess what, they've limited all of the power to the incumbent governor so that he can't change things, so that things that the old regime wanted can still get passed through. This is fucked up, people. Your rights are being taken away. And I digress off of my soapbox.
many sorries from my blue city.
It's sad. But with those topics in mind, what will your new album be?
I'm getting more comfortable with writing now, so it's gonna kind of move toward more towards my actual life experience. Not that my old stuff doesn't, but kind of like a stand-up comedian, you have to punch up your lines a little bit. So not everything I write is 100% true. I have a line where I say I'm spitting heaven sent stutter and lips covered in resin, where you know, like 3 out of those 4 things are true. I'm not heaven sent because there is no heaven.
Amen. That's ironic.
There's an amen in the crowd, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody. Yeah.
How'd you get your name?
My name is an amalgam from my parents. On my dad's side, my great grandfather, I believe, or maybe 3 greats back, is Solomon, which, if you translate that into Hebrew, it's Slomo, and I'm a Jew, y'all. Which,
if you couldn't tell by his tattoo.
no. Still, you know, they're not doing great things either. But let's not talk about that.
His armband.
Yeah, I have the Israel flag on my arm.
Yeah.
But that's just because I've been there.
That's cool.
Those are the different places that I've traveled to.
Oh.
I'm gonna add a new one in January.
Where's the new place you've traveled to?
Japan.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to Japan. Nippon.
Very cool.
It's very exciting.
I mean, where?
We're just gonna stay in Tokyo. We're gonna get a hostel, and we're going to.
And then this was the last interview. And we'll proceed.
Hope not. We're staying in a hostel, and we're just gonna take a couple day trips out. Like we're gonna check out the Imperial Palace in the city, of course, and see all of the different. Like my thing is gonna be food and food culture. I'm just gonna hit all those little streets that have like bars all down the way.
You're gonna go eat dogs and cats.
Well, that if I was in Korea, maybe, but I don't know if that's really
and
a
like
Japan thing.
squid and whale. Whale is a
Yes.
whale is a Japanese thing.
If I come across some whale and it doesn't break the bank, I'm sorry, whales. I'm trying a piece.
You're eating people. You're eating
I
mermaids.
I would eat people, actually.
Okay.
If
you come
offered
from
the
Japan.
opportunity.
Yeah. So the hostel then was overrun by Sam, and again we never saw him again.
Yes.
So
I just stayed in Japan eating people.
they would never notice. Everybody goes there.
Mhm.
So you have written a lot of things. How long have you been doing this? Because your SoundCloud is kind of full.
It's getting there. I started in I want to say 2015, and
When you went to Colorado?
when I went to Colorado, so I guess you could say I've put out a song about every month because I think I have about 40 total.
Wow.
And there was a time at the beginning where I was just boom, boom, boom. I literally would sit because the thing that gets me writing is actually being in the car, which makes it very hard to write. So what I do is I take voice memos of just musings. My process is basically just driving in the car sometimes and like throwing whatever comes into my head into my phone, and then I'll get home and I'll take that and I'll edit it and I'll add to it, subtract things, just kind of make it so that it's concise. Because when I'll come up with some stupid ideas without like having a beat behind it. So sometimes it just comes from words, and sometimes I have a beat in front of me. Sometimes I'm in the studio. It's all kind of a crapshoot.
Gotcha. So we had spoken earlier. I had asked about the mask because if
Yes.
you go and you look on Slomo K's social media, he's got a mask. He's got a orange cap with holes cut out.
That is
so
literally what it was.
how did where did that come from, and why do you now not have that imagery?
Well, in the beginning, I was working for a company that was, ironically, in Colorado, a anti-cannabis company. And when I first started there, it wasn't an issue. And then actually, I was the one who kind of brought things to a head when I accidentally dropped a receipt from a dispensary on the floor. I had gone during the day. Because I still had my provisional paperwork, I could only go between the hours of 9 and 5, and I worked until 5. So I had gone in the middle of the day on my lunch break, off the clock, to go to this dispensary and get some stuff, and the receipt fell out of my bag. A couple weeks later, they made a speech to us and said anybody who's caught with hot piss is going to get let go. And I did not stop smoking. But I did, keep everything away from the job, and that was really the impetus behind the mask, was to cover up my face so that if my boss was just doing some random browsing on Facebook and he came across Slomo K, he wouldn't know who Slomo K was, because I kept my arms, which are, it's probably silly to say without showing. I have a few tattoos, and they're pretty recognizable. If you saw these on a screen, you wouldn't think, oh, it's probably somebody else. And I went to a tattoo shop and said, I need these 5 flags tattooed on me, and not many other people have tattoos like that, so it would be very easy to tell who I was, and I decided to keep that information secret from my boss. Amusingly,
Not flash art.
after I had already put in my 2 weeks and I was getting ready to move back to Chicago, I actually, he overheard me and a friend talking about what was going to be one of my last open mics in town before I moved away. And my boss goes, oh, are you performing? And I said, yeah. And he goes, oh, I might stop by. And he did. So he watched me perform like 2 songs about getting really high and another song about stealing something from my public school. And then he came up to me and said, so this is what you've been doing while you were here on your off time? And I said, yeah. He goes, you're pretty okay. It's not my thing, but I can tell that you work at it and you you've
You're
got
really
these
good at
songs,
smoking
like-
weed, though you're shooting and stealing stuff. Good job, kid. I'm
So,
proud of you.
It was just kind of a weird moment where like it was sad that he felt he had to go to the level of like zero tolerance for that shit because, you know, I was a decent employee and he liked me, he promoted me, he gave me raises, he definitely appreciated my work, so it just bummed me out that I couldn't be open about that part of my life in front of him. But, you know, because of that, that's where the mask came from, and I did wear it once when I performed out there for like a full set, and there was a moment where I was newly single. A very pretty young lady was walking past the door. She stopped dead in her tracks and like peered through the door after she heard the rap music coming out. And when she saw my mask, she ran away.
Wow.
Not ran away, but like, you know, it was one of those, huh? Oh moments. And I just kind of thought about it afterwards, and all of the feedback I was getting from my family and friends, like my mom, I like to see your face.
Aww.
You know, and it's not that so much as like I don't need to worry about that anymore. I'm you know, partially self-employed. I'm working for someone who understands that the way that I use it is medical and that I'm not an irresponsible person. So
You're still gonna come to work and do what
Yes.
you need to. Hey, because guess what? Let's destigmatize all the fucking bullshit that is that.
I mean, guys, I'm working like 4 jobs regularly, and I smoke weed every day, all day, and I'm getting promotions and new job offers.
Here.
Fuck your stigma.
I am.
True stories. What precipitated your move back here?
That job was still, you know, okay for me, but my living situation had changed. The reason I moved out there was to be with somebody, and that did not pan out, so we were still friendly, but I needed a new place to live. And the place I was living was too much. The 1-bedroom apartments there were more expensive than some 2 bedrooms here in the city, or well, rather in Chicago, or even out here, I'm sure.
That's
like,
crazy.
But they wanted more for a 1-bedroom than I was willing to pay, and when I asked for another raise, you know, right before my time when I was getting ready to, you know, shit or get off the pot, I said, I need this figure. They said, that's not going to work for us. And I said, okay, I'm sorry, but I'm going back to the city because I can live for cheaper there. I have a support network. I have so many connections that I can plumb the depths for finding some way to make money where I don't need to be in a place where I'm worried about my boss finding about something I do on my off time.
We all live in fear. Good job, government. Live in fear, don't be
Way
honest.
to go.
I compare this to using a blinker. Earlier today, we were behind a vehicle that was not using a signal of any kind and just decided to go. Now, had I known that this person was going to, you know, make a turn, I would have been able to go around and go about my way, thus not holding me up.
Science.
Just leading to prove that that simple little tool that allows us to communicate, we don't even use, which means we can't fucking communicate. We need to start communicating. I was watching Planet Earth, or Blue Planet 2. Fucking whales, man. Don't eat the whales. Don't eat whales, Sam.
Okay.
The whales are,
Sea people.
they're
I
amazing.
won't tell you about it if I do.
We were watching Blue Planet 2, and these giant orcas are fucking herding herring and slapping them with their tails, which causes these massive humpback whales to come, and everybody eats. They worked together to create enough food source for everybody. We can't even use a blinker. So, I mean, let's not kill the whales. Let's learn how to use the tools we've already created and thus communicate better. Dude, for real. That's true life stories.
I do agree with you about the turn signal, but I love the comparison.
Yeah, I just was like, we can't even do this. Whales are eating and living in a giant fucking place, and we kill each other and can't use turn signals. It's a little fucked up.
One of my jobs is a delivery job, and every single shift, I am pissed at least one motorist for, you know, going 20 miles an hour in the left lane because they don't realize that they need to use a signal if they're going to turn. Or stopping dead, or, you know, just whatever.
In fairness, I've probably been one of those drivers in your city because Chicago, A, is scary, and B, nothing is fucking marked. I've had to remember the city so that I know where the fuck I'm going, so I can chameleon my way in. I'm like, no, I got this. I'm good. Parallel park will not happen. I will drive and I will walk my ass a few blocks to you.
To avoid the parallel park.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I could teach you.
Yeah, I've done it one time, but not in the death van. The death van. So, sir, you've performed in Colorado.
Yes.
Do you perform in Chicago?
I have a couple times, yeah.
Is that on the docket? Will you be performing more? And what is the underground hip hop scene like?
Oh, I'm still just kind of breaking in. I'm lucky enough to have some friends that write for a local publication, as do I, in Chicago, called These Days. We're writing about up and coming hip hop, R&B, rock and roll, ska, death metal, whatever you're playing. If it's underground, send it to me, Sam BG These Days at gmail.com. And they are all very well connected. On top of like being, writers, they're also either managing people or producing events or art shows or anything. Like we're talking about a partnership with a couple places that I can't really talk about yet because we haven't rolled out everything, but it's going to be really cool, and it's coming up middle of January.
Cool.
And yeah.
And when you can, post them on our page and let us know, because we'll talk about them on the show.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we want to connect everybody to everything. I am a resource whore, and I'm like, I want to know stuff. You want to know stuff too.
And I honestly, I've been trying to be that way with the Chicago hip hop scene, and I think that my friends are just now coming around to the idea that I'm actually doing this in a serious manner.
What has been the kind of opinion or
Friendly
reaction?
enough. Everybody says usually the response is, "Wow, I didn't know you could do that," which is crazy because I can talk fast and I like to read, so I like to add meaning to the things that I write. So why wouldn't it be a cool good thing? Like, what is this weird? Could I not have did? What's so weird about it is basically my question. But
it's not weird.
I don't know. I just I've been writing.
It's impressive. I couldn't bust a flow. I'm really good at being able to knife hand and yell, project, be compassionate about things.
Hey, what are you talking about? Hey.
But I don't think I could do that. I could not do that. How do you do that?
It's a lot of words.
Yeah, it's a lot of words, but it's with a beat and a time, and it's like iambic pentameter. You have to know fucking poetry and certain prose in order to do rap, and people kind of negate that, and they've pushed it aside because this country is a racist bunch of assholes. In fairness and truth, but there's a lot of intelligence that goes into making rap music.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, this kind of brings up the talent versus skill conversation, because there are truly people out there who there's someone who was talking about this who said in people's families there are always the different kinds of people within that family. So for instance, in my family, we're all fucking ham bones. We love to make jokes and crack into random accents and stuff like that, and I truly feel that my family must have had a history at some point of being entertainers, and I feel that is true for every family, that there is something that family excelled in way back, and genetic memory has just carried this through, and some people are given enough family history or just read enough to kind of understand that concept and go with it, and other people might not necessarily have those resources and go with it anyway. There's people like Zaytoven, who is a hip-hop producer, as far as I know has zero music schooling, but he is just a mastermind at putting his beats together. People like Mellow X as well for making beats, and then you also have people who take it a step further from I'm just good at this and I like to do it. And then there's a rapper like Pharoah Monch who every white person has heard the song Simon Says at least once, and they may not know it, but it's this fantastic rap song. And from that one rap song that he wrote, I was able to like deep into like his YouTube archive. I found like his songwriting method. And he goes like, I write out the letters of the alphabet and then I stagger them every X amount of letters. And then when I finish a line with this letter, I know I need to start on the letter that's below it. And so I just have this memorized in my head. So when I'm writing this stuff, I kind of think, okay, it ended on this, it needs to start with this next, and that's the perfect flow for him.
Wow.
And there's just, I mean,
That's
and that's
math.
just one story. And he does it all in his head now.
Hi,
Cheers,
Josie.
Good meeting you, brother.
Nice meeting you too, dude.
Drive safely. So yeah, I mean, people really do discount what goes into not just the music writing and not just the lyric writing and not just the capturing people's attention and having a bubbly personality. It's got nothing to do with a person's car or their chains or anything like that. 2 Chainz aside, because I have to like put this on public record. His name used to be Titty Boy. Like for real, that was his rap name. And this guy went. 2 Chainz went to marketing school, guys.
Titty chain.
Titty Chain. Titty Chain is a smart
Is that
guy.
like a nipple thing?
Yeah.
That's a titty
Like
chain,
the
right?
clips
The
with
clamps
lights.
with the thing.
Mm.
That
I know
got weird.
something
Hey.
about you. Okay, but you know, like.
I don't even have it. Never have I ever. That's how the game works, right? What?
What, I drank too.
Alright.
So, people really discount like the fact that there are some serious, intelligent folks out there making hip hop and R&B music. I do agree with that.
What does the future hold for you? Where are you going with this?
I'm going wherever it takes me. Originally, you know, no one starts a band or starts a musical endeavor without that pipe dream. There's always the pipe dream of like, fuck, I might get famous. And to me, that's. I was in a ska band for 5 years, guys. Ska bands don't get signed very often.
No.
You saw Basketball, that's the last time a ska band ever had that kind of notoriety. And that was in like 1994.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm in the scene, so I know about them. I know that, you know, the fucking Mustard Plug plays a holiday show at the Metro in Chicago every year. I know that. They come through the city once a year. The Toasters also like once every 2 years. Like, I know this because I'm in the scene, but like, people who are just getting into the scene and stuff, you really need to have an ear to the ground, and you have to have someone that's going to connect you to the people that matter in like the booking aspect, in the professional aspect. That's another aspect of the industry that people just discount.
And then write you out?
Huh?
I said like, not steal your ideas and then write you out.
No, yeah.
Oh.
What?
Ah, we'll discuss.
Okay.
That happened. It's a true story. You could write about it. I
Okay.
could write about it.
I could
But
write
that's
about
why I do these things.
Yes.
Because I say, fuck all that, and I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah. So I guess to answer your question, where I'm going with this is, Slomo Kanofsky was originally just going to be an open mic thing. And then I started getting people's attention, and I thought I could do something with this. And then I came up with the imagery with the ski mask, and which is funny because people love the ski mask when it's like on a sticker or on my like background or something on
I
my
like
SoundCloud.
it.
But I've gotten many bad responses in person. So
I almost thought it was like a Fat Albert homage. Like,
not quite, no.
I'm hiding who I am because fuck the government.
Yeah, that was basically it.
Gotcha.
So I got all that stuff together. People started listening. I started getting plays, and I thought, you know what? Ultimately, Slomo Kanofsky is a nonprofit. It will never ever make money for me because that's not why you make music. I don't want to make money from music for the simple fact that like I don't trust myself to treat it like a job. I write out of passion, out of like just I have something go through my head and that's a song, and I just keep writing to it, and eventually it becomes a song. And I never ever want to remove that lightning in a bottle. That like I never want to have to be like, oh, I'm going to the studio again.
Right.
You know, fuck. I wish we could get it right, and like I want to avoid that as much as possible to stay away from the overly points based system that so many people use to try and, you know, talk about their music. Like every time I talk to someone, they say, well, so-and-so's got this amount of plays, I just go, fuck you. You know, what does that fucking mean? Like, X amount of people were either tricked into listening to this, or they,
it popped
like,
up on their feed,
it popped
or
up,
somebody
it
said
came
it
up
on
in
repeat.
shuffle, like, because record labels are pushing it, because the industry is leaning towards people who have money and people who are independent. You know, you have to have love for the music, which, can I do a quick plug?
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of
permission.
love for the music, I also am running a podcast called Gig, Pray, Love. And the idea is you do the gig, you pray it went well, and at the end of the day you still got love for your craft and your music. And we kind of try to educate, you know, just regular everyday civilian listeners, regular old people, or up and coming musicians, or even people who have been in the industry for a long time who, you know, just didn't think of that idea.
Right.
And we've had a few bands in, we're going to be posting those podcasts real soon. But check out these days for my articles, and you will probably find the podcast next to them within the next few bits.
Hey,
I honestly don't know.
so if you're doing a podcast and you're writing a blog,
Writing for a blog.
for a blog,
Yes, I am but a small piece of that team.
these are important words to use.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you're doing these things where you are coming in contact with more underground musicians.
Yes,
I invite you to extend the invitation for them to come here.
I will do so.
A, we're not that far away. B, we accommodate people with a phone interview if they don't want to come here, as long as they send me music to play, I will do that. But I love having that connection, because now that we've come across so many people all over the place, if somebody's like, oh, I'm going on tour, and you frequently see on Facebook, oh, my band wants to go play here, who should I connect with? I'm like, these 5 people are who you should talk to, and usually it all goes well. And that's how this should go, because you talked about an important aspect where, well, so-and-so has so many plays, and so-and-so has this many likes, and we have validated what is considered good by the amount of fake data that is accumulated. And in all actuality, I do really believe that independent artists and underground musicians can take the music industry back, and it's about being educated.
Yeah.
It's about not buying into the system. Do not, you know, I'm a big advocate, don't use like a CD baby or a DistroKid. Distributors rape you of your rights and your income. You can earn money yourself. You have the same right. I know, I'm talking to you. You should listen right now. Don't eat whales, Sam. But there's a theme. But these things are important
Gotta
because
get the songs on Spotify somehow.
you can post it yourself.
Okay, well.
You can do that. You can post all of your own shit yourself. People buy into the idea that they have to pay for that extra door in. Spotify has to like your music and submit it, you know, like, or CD Baby. You paid them, and they're kind of paying Spotify for that shortcut in, but you don't have to pay anybody if you just submit your shit to Spotify yourself. And you can do that on any platform, and if you have SoundCloud, that's one of the major jumping off points to get on. I know you do, and it has, you know, views and, listeners, followers, but that is one of the platforms that Spotify and iTunes use as a vetting process to choose who they're going to put on there.
I did not know that.
Yes. You gotta meet other people who know
I guess
things.
it's a good thing SoundCloud didn't go under a few months ago.
Right. Well, I think there's going to be a new pull and push to change how they do that into almost being like a credit union, where they want people to buy into it to own the space so that it can be, yes. But like a credit union, if you wanted to pull out, you could pull all your shit off, and it's still yours, and you can re-release it if you wanted to, and you still make all the royalties. You know, unlike a for-profit that is going to take your stuff and then you can't post it again elsewhere. Yee, that's a thing.
I learned something today.
You should all learn something every time you watch this show. Never leave this house empty-headed. It's a good saying, and someone should make it so I can frame it on my door. But I want to see a change and a shift, because the music industry did not used to be like that. It was that you would see 5 or 6 people pop up in a band and like start traveling and then they became a thing. Hell, fucking Woodstock was around before there was any sorts of likes, follows, etc.
True.
And all of these people did it because they didn't give a shit. They said, fuck the government, I want to do drugs and write music.
Yeah.
I like art. So I think we have the opportunity to do that again. So,
That'd be fun.
keep doing it. Keep
Okay.
doing it. So, is this hard to do?
What?
Do you find it difficult to...
I mean, I dropped a couple bars, you saw.
No. I mean, like, do you find it difficult to be up there on stage alone doing this as opposed to being with a band as you have
for
been
sure.
before?
I mean, even when I was in a band, I wanted to be kind of this explosive personality on stage. Like, that was definitely part of my on-stage persona as a guitar player. And it wasn't ever through, like, any planning or whatever. I just felt bored standing in front of the microphone. I didn't want to be boring. So I just figured I'd start jumping around. I have nearly run into Anthony Johnson's bass more times than I can count. That is the bass player from my old band, Run and Punch, Chicago, Illinois, ska punk for your ass. And they, I remember a set we played, it was very, it should have been a depressing set, but I had the most fun ever. We played to a totally empty room at Mojo's in Peoria.
I remember you guys telling me
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So the best part was I had seen Lawrence Arms there the night before, and it was packed,
Dude.
packed full, and there was no room to walk or anything. I'm walking through, going, all of these people are like big punk rocker fans. Like they're all gonna be here tomorrow for our show.
Because they like local music. No, they don't.
No, they don't. So, so we get there. There's nobody there yet. I think maybe people will show up by the time we play. Nobody was there yet. It was the other bands, and I had the most rockin' set I think I had ever had up to that point. I jumped off the fucking kick drum, on the stage. Jumped off the drum stage onto the smaller stage from the kick drum.
Awesome.
I almost ran in, literally almost cleared Anthony off the stage.
Damn.
And but it was the most fun that I had because it was literally that moment of just like, fuck it. I'm going to play until either my hand bleeds or I break something because this is my moment to see how far I can push it.
Do you think that you will ever rejoin a band and do that again, or will this be your sole focus?
I have played with Run and Punch since I left. They've called me in for a few gigs. Felt kind of spiffy about that.
Cool.
But I don't know. I mean, I have friends that jam once every week on a Friday. But as long as the work keeps coming in, I will not be able to join them because the work week.
Because work equals money equals life equals what this art is.
Well, I also kind of hate the work week. I think it's stupid.
I agree. I mean, why can't we kind of have a European model?
Yeah.
2-hour
the
lunch
410s
breaks.
or something.
Yeah.
Right? They just...
Because, if people are happy, they might actually have better productivity. True. But what do I know about mental wellness? So we're getting close to the top of the hour. Do you have any merchandise?
I'm still kicking myself for forgetting my stickers at home.
No, but do you have... So people...
Just stickers.
Your stickers?
Yeah, I'm not selling them yet. The first run, every person that wants a sticker gets a free sticker.
So... comment, message, or go, you know what, here's the challenge. Go like his page if you haven't already and shoot him a message, Slomo Kanofsky, and he'll get you one of those stickers.
Big facts. I am online at facebook.com/Slomo Kanofsky, KANOFKFSKY. Fuck.
I love you, Sam.
Twitter and Instagram at Slomo_K. SoundCloud.com/Slomo_K.
The SoundCloud is awesome. I listened to it at work and was super bumping it. And I think people were walking past like, what? And I was like, yeah! Fuck you!
Good. I'm really glad that my music elicited that response from someone.
That's kind of... I told her about it.
It did.
She was walking and I was like...
into it.
I was like,
yeah! What is this?
It's just a white boy getting funky, that's all. So yeah, I do have a show coming up on the 23rd, which is Sunday at Popcorn on the south side. I think it's on 45th Street, if I remember correctly. Come check it out. It's actually a release party for a friend of mine who goes by the name Ricardo Rax. Shouts out Ricky Rex. Shouts out Devo, aka Almighty Cuddy. I miss you guys. I'm so far away. I will be home later. JK, see you. Bye. Popcorn in Chicago
What
on the
time?
23rd. The event starts at 5:30. I'm not sure when I'm going to be performing, but it goes from 5:30 to 10, and it's to celebrate Ricky dropping his new song, quote, WYD, question mark.
What are you doing?
What you doing?
What you doing?
So-
Hey!
Speaking of, what you doing on the 23rd? Coming to listen to some music?
Popcorn.
Cool.
That's what day?
That is a
It's
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes.
Why the fuck do you guys always do shows on Sundays?
Because the
Sunday
Saturdays are
fun day.
reserved for the big acts.
Oh, well, at least you get music on Sunday in Chicago. I mean, everybody's like, you should come to these things, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I have kids, and like my work
Yeah.
week starts Monday. I'm not coming. Love you.
Yeah.
Not this
Sorry,
It's all
but
good.
not this
Not
Sunday. Not
Monday.
this Sunday. We don't have kids, and we don't have work the next day. Happy institutionalized holiday. Anyways, this has been Slomo Kanofsky. You can catch him on multiple social media platforms as well as Just the Sky Kid. And again, go catch that show on the 23rd, 8 o'clock. Popcorn. Okay, thanks. Bye.